Hello, thank you so much for watching. This is Atsushi, and I think this is on. I hope this is on. I got a new equipment, so I hope I am doing the live streaming with the better resolution, better images. Let me just get back to that. Where is my video? Oh, there we go. So this is the test live streaming, so I am not gonna do that long. It's gonna be probably 30 minutes or so. But I just wanted to make sure that everybody hears me and everybody can look at the images. That looks good, that looks good. Alright, I will be stitching as the sample. Please let me know if you feel the autofocusing is a little bit of trouble. This may autofocus based on my move. I don't want that to happen. I hope that this will not shut down like the last time. Okay. Good morning, good morning, good evening to Japan. Good morning for the US. I have to change this live streaming's title too. It's not a Wednesday, it means not Friday. I don't think I can do it Friday again, so let's see. Oh, actually, I probably should explain that too. So many people understand Sashiko as the kind of mending techniques or patching techniques or the culture of mending the fabric or denim or garment. That's right. That's quite correct. That's not wrong at all. However, that explains only one part of Sashiko. It's not a whole picture of Sashiko. And some people contact me for the information or direction or advice on how to make the good patching, good mending to make the denim or garment to be like a Boro. And I also got I got these pretty similar inquiry or similar question from the New York Times magazine about how to mend the denim, how to patch the denim. And I told them that the Sashiko's whole picture of Sashiko is actually not to do the mending so that we can use the denim or garment longer. They listened to us very carefully and they did such a good job summarizing what I said for like an hour and a half or 2 hours. The word is the mending or patching is the last result in Sashiko. That explains a lot of things. This is a good, this is my denim that I wear pretty much every day. This is a very good example of how we, the Japanese, handle the textile back in Japan to appreciate, to preserve, or to extend the to extend the life of extend the life of that garment. So this is just denim, and if you keep using that, of course it gets very thinner and of course damaged by using it. That's the nature. We cannot change anything. Therefore, because this denim will get damaged over time, I made a stitch entire denim. Like the back side is like this. Both legs, different patterns, different sizes of patterns, but it's pretty much the same idea of stitching all across the denim so that this fabric will be stronger than the actual denim. It's gonna last long, and it is actually lasting longer than usual because This is my fourth year to wear this, and it's still, good looking. Interestingly, when we do the Sashiko stitching on the fabric on the denim, instead of having a hole like this, the Sashiko stitches itself break down first. So this is the regular Sashiko stitching, and then by using it, the frictions and those damages will make the stitches sort of disappear. Interestingly, very interestingly, this Sashiko thread doesn't come off by itself when you use for many years, over the long times. So it doesn't come out, but the part which got damaged, friction gets damaged before the actual fabric of actual denim get damaged. So I was a little bit too late to start reinforcing the stitches because I had a hole here. Well, but this hole is the reason I started realizing that this denim is kind of getting damaged. So right now, what I'm doing right now is to go over the existing stitch and adding the extra line to make this area stronger. That's what I'm doing here. So this is the one line shippo patterns plus a little bit of the extra lines. I tried to use the different color of thread to make a difference, and I could not explain that without this new equipment. I'm so happy that I can do it right now. So that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm gonna do right now with the stitching. And after, the more we use it, the denim will get more damaged. This patch, I'm gonna probably patch it later on, will get bigger, and I will probably start having more damage somewhere else. We keep stitching as much as I can and keep patching as much as I can, but the concept I would like to share today is that patching is the last resort, and that's very much a good summary of what I do for Sashiko. So that's what I'm gonna do a little bit later. Yet this is the sample, this is the test streaming, so I have only 50 more minutes to go. And on top of that, because I can do this with the better image, better screen, I am planning to do some of the collection introduction. No. I can probably do like an online gallery thing. Not a gallery, but I can share the Sashiko pieces we have created, and introduce what it looks like with this better resolution. I share a lot of photos, but the video was kind of the actual video was kind of difficult to share because, first of all, it was not really clear to see. So this is the Boro my mother made a few years ago, five years ago. Wow, it's already 5 years ago. But this doesn't really look like a patching that we see. It's not colorful. It's not really patched. You sometimes don't see the patches itself. It's simply the Sashiko stitches over the vintage or very weak fabric. So many people misunderstand that the Boro is the Japanese technique of making patchworks. It's not wrong, but at the same time it doesn't explain the whole picture. Boro is simply a result of repetitive Sashiko stitching, repetitive of fixing, the result of repeating the Sashiko stitching, and this is one example. When we do Sashiko, like this hole is the same as the hole I introduced on the denim. Where did it go? This is the same idea. It's a different fabric, it's different cotton, different age, different textile. But when they had this even little tiny fabric, they didn't want to waste it. So they kept patching, they kept stitching together, and that makes like a Boro like this. And usually we patch from the backside because the goal is to make the fabric like a one sheet of a finished fabric. Patches represent the poverty. They were not happy with being poor, so they wanted to hide that shame. Therefore, pretty much a lot of Sashiko Boro pieces have the patches from the backside. Does the fabric have to be old or used to be called Boro? That's a very good question. I don't know. I don't know. But Boro itself is actually not a good term in Japan. In Japanese, not many people want to use that. It's like it's not a good term. I mean, it does not have the positive image in the word or sound of Boro. So, I mean, anybody can call whatever they want as a Boro if they understand the culture. When they understand the Japanese culture behind it, or they even try, not even understand. If they try to learn the Japanese culture behind it, I have no problem with them calling their new product Boro. But I think the Boro requires, the authentic Boro requires repetitive of using it and fixing it. Therefore, it's very difficult to remake it in today's world, because that requires like 10 years, 20 years, decades, and probably generations and centuries. Therefore, it is very difficult to make the Boro again, and in order to kind of skip that long process, we use the vintage fabric, which could not be the part of Boro a few hundred years ago. So this is the fabric that they couldn't be part of Boro. It was too damaged, too small. So we use that to make we call it Boro, but is it really authentic Boro? We will define that later on by keep using that. So to answer that question, if I patch something, this is the hole. It's the same idea. This is the hole. This is the damage pattern. If I patch it, do I call it Boro? No, I don't call it Boro. It's just the Sashiko denim with the one patches. If I keep wearing this Sashiko denim for, let's say, 30 years from now, and I have like numbers of patches that I cannot even count, and I cannot even see the original piece, then I might call it Boro, because it looks like Boro means completely tattered or damaged. So Boro means like a piece of, the bad word. So that's a very good question. Does the fabric have to be old or vintage? I don't think so, but at the same time, it requires the time to use that. It requires the process of using the fabric. That is why it's kind of difficult to define what Boro is. I don't know that word. Derogatory. Probably. It's not I don't think it's the derogatory. I cannot say that word. It's more like a embarrassment or shame, for that matter. They didn't wanna. If they had a choice, they didn't wanna have it. So they didn't look down at those pieces. Nobody actually judged the poor people for that, but I guess judging others is not really a Japanese. Let me rephrase that. Criticizing the others is not really a Japanese culture. We judge others a lot. we judge others based on our values a lot, but the criticizing is kind of not our culture, I guess. Before we criticize each other, we judge ourselves. We very much feel we criticize ourselves first, than in comparison to the other judging ourselves. So it's more like a shame is probably the easiest or the most accurate word that I can explain. Okay. 10 more minutes left. So it's very short live streaming, and I will come back not this Friday, but sometimes, probably this Saturday, probably sometimes. I don't know when, but I'll come back, and I will let you know that on the Instagram and here and there. Where was that? My God. Yes, so this live streaming is more like stitching, and I'll talk about something cultural story, something cultural in terms of in relating regarding Sashiko. So I do not talk about anything. It's shaking. It's shaking. I don't like it to be shaking. I try to not to talk about the techniques that much because I do already have a videos and online class as well. So I will talk about something cultural that I cannot share in the set amount of times. By talking like continuously or with live streaming, I can share. I hope I can share the true meaning of Sashiko for the Japanese people. So that's the goal of this live streaming. So I'm happy to have any kind of question about the Japanese Sashiko culture, like what is really about the Boro. The Lisa's question was perfect. The question encouraged me to think more, and I can explain, I can express what I feel like. So your questions are very welcome. I'll keep doing that. I hope I can do it every week, but until my daughter's school starts, it's gonna be a little bit irregular. It's not gonna be Friday morning or Friday night, or it will be probably Saturday morning, but today was just irregular test live streaming, so I could use this new tool, which I'm so happy about. Until the previous live streaming, it was pretty bad. Nobody explains like you do. Thank you. Yes, it is very interesting. The reason is that I'm kind of outsider. I'm not 100% Japanese for that matter. A few reasons, like the Japanese do not really speak English. I mean, they study for 12 years or something, but they don't speak English that much. Like, I'm a good example. I did not speak English at all until the day I come to the US for my university. I got a good grade. I got a very good grade on the English writing, reading. The math was okay. That's why I could come to the US. But speaking, that's a completely different story. I couldn't even order milk. A glass of milk, I couldn't even order that. We do have a complex. We're not that proud. I was not proud of not being able to speak English. And the second thing is that's one thing, right? Like, not English is not that easy. English is not that easy language for us to speak. The second thing is Sashiko itself is not already a thing that we were proud of. I am from the family, so I am kind of educated to talk about it more freely. But many Japanese Sashiko teachers who I had talked to, they most of them are gone already. They passed away. You know, they were very old when I was a child. They didn't want to talk about it because this Sashiko itself associate poverty, especially Boro, associate with poverty in their life. So they were not really happy about talking about it. That's why not many people can explain what it is, like what I do. So some people say that I am sharing my opinion. It is my opinion because I'm saying that it's my statement. However, it's not like the opinion or the selfish opinion because it's based on the stories that I have received. So it is kind of natural that I am kind of sharing. Well, plus I have a reason that I couldn't share these kind of stories until 2020. So there's many reasons that it's kind of scary to say. The more the person knows about Sashiko, the less the person wanted to share that, I guess. That's what happened in 50 years ago, 40 years ago. And the more we know the core of Sashiko, the more difficult it is to talk about the actual culture. God, I have a lot of story to tell you, but before I go, there is no many culture, many tradition has branches, like ramification. There's one big tree and there's a lot of branches. So styles, or we call it ryuha. Well, I don't know how to translate ryuha. Like branches and like some styles. Karate has a lot of branches. The tea ceremonies, flower arrangement. Many Japanese culture has the branches. So does so is Sashiko. But the very interesting part of the Sashiko is that I don't know any single dispute between these different Sashiko. There might be something. It's probably that I just don't know. But there's no such a thing as the big dispute fighting which Sashiko is the right Sashiko. That's why I never say that there's no such a thing as right and wrong in Sashiko. They just respected each other, that they understand the difference, and they probably enjoy the difference too. So I don't know. I want to share the original image of Sashiko as much as I can. I was not living in Japan in 2000. I mean, 1850. I'm not 60 years old. So I cannot tell you exactly how it was like. But at the same time, I'm the one who listened to those stories the most, because I was raised in the Sashiko family where everybody, Sashiko artisans, like about 80 years old, 90 years old, Sashiko stitchers kept talking, and I had to be there, and I had to listen, regardless of my, passion for the soccer or the video games. I had to listen. So now that's the privilege. Anyway, come on. I'm watching from Italy. Congratulations. Thank you so much for watching. Yes, and the more you know about Sashiko, the more it makes sense, and I hope you will enjoy the stitching itself. And it's so super. Okay, I have to go, but I will come back. I will keep offering. It's just a matter of when. I hope to make it like a regular live streaming, like let's say on Friday in the future, but that's gonna happen when my daughter goes to school. So until then, I'll keep doing like irregularly. All the live streaming will be archived on this YouTube channel, and I'll let you know that when it's gonna happen on my SNS, probably on the Instagram first. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I will see you Well, let me show you the good side of the denim. I'm so glad that this works. This camera works now. Sorry for the bad image for last 2 years. Well, I should have invested more first. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming. All the archives should be stored in on this channel, so you can watch that. All right, thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye bye.